Okay, Frank, we're recording. Okay. I'm Carol Hare with Fidelity National in Virginia Beach, Virginia. And we've got Frank Butler, underwriting counsel and record room refugee. Because you and I were both in the record room a lot of years, you before longer than I.
Mm-hmm.
And when we were talking about tracking or following the lead of our Tennessee counterparts and having title talks, I was asking Frank about, well, what questions do you frequently get about as an underwriting counsel? And the first thing you said was
Tax sales.
yeah, and the search requirements.
Yeah, I've gotten a flurry of those recently.
So tell us what the most common misconceptions are and what you need in order to approve a tax sale.
Okay, the most common misconception is that, can you stop at a tax sale? Special commissioners from a tax sale? And the answer is no.
It would be so much easier if the answer was yes.
Yeah, undoubtedly.
Yeah.
But the normal search requirements apply, 60 years for commercial property and 40 years for residential property unless you've got a policy. And the reason is because the special commissioner only conveys the property, the deed from the special commissioner only affects the rights of people who are joined as defendants in the suit and actually serve with process.
So the fact that they went to court doesn't mean they did everything properly.
Correct.
Okay. And we have to double check that they not only went to court, but they invited all the correct parties to the party.
Yes, and we're relying on the title examiner to let us know who should have been made a party to the suit and whether or not that was actually done.
And who should have been?
Anybody who has an interest in the property, which is going to include anybody who has an ownership interest and anybody that has a lien on the property.
And if they're not named, do they need to be named or just notified of the suit?
Well, the code's got a little vague on it, so we prefer that they actually be named and served with process.
Okay.
Because the treasurer is supposed to send out a notice 90 days before the tax suit has begun, but we never get those notices, so that's why we prefer to see that all lien holders and all owners named parties defendant and serve with process.
So we need to know who the parties are and how they were served.
Correct.
And the only way you can know who should be parties is if you've got the complete search showing who owns it and who has liens on it.
Correct.
Gosh, I was just thinking of something and then I forgot it. Oh, I do remember early on when I started with Fidelity National, the question was, can we even insure tax sales? Because I think some of our competitor companies do not insure properties coming out of a recent tax sale. So if you have someone who's going to tax sales and buying it from tax sales, they may not be able to get title insurance. Fidelity looks at it on a case-by-case basis.
Correct.
And one thing I remember John David Epperly saying was, sometimes tax sales are the result of really nobody knows who owns the property. And so nobody's been paying the taxes because it's such a title mess. If it's such a title mess that it's going to a tax sale, the tax sale is not a means of cleaning up the property.
I agree.
You have to be able to determine who the owners are and, again, invite them to the lawsuit party.
Yeah, it's a fairness consideration because everybody who has an interest in the property has to know that this suit is taking place.
Right. And if they want to protect their lien interest or their ownership interest, they can go and bid in or pay the taxes and clean the title that way.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's just such a mess that we don't think it's insurable, we're not going to insure it. And then you came up with a handy-dandy checklist.
Right. This is on the website. It's under the search guidelines. And if the title examiner will use this checklist, I think it'd be very helpful.
It just serves to remind you, the title examiner, the things you're going to need in order to review the proceedings to make sure we can properly insure it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And basically what we'll need to see the complaint, who who were the defendants, who was served with process and how. We need to see the court order authorizing the sale, because that order will normally say the property is conveyed. We'd like to see it say the property is conveyed free and clear of liens.
Yeah.
But if it's silent, doesn't say anything, then we can probably go ahead and ensure if everything else is okay. Then we need to see the special commissioner's report. And we have to see the court order confirming the sale, and then we require that the case be dismissed.
So you need to see the whole file.
Kind of, yes.
Yeah. So the title examiner is going to have to make a few copies.
Yes. There might be a lot of other stuff we don't need in there, like if the special commissioner, if it's referred to a commissioner in chancery, we don't need the record from that proceeding.
Yeah.
And that can be quite long.
I think one of the reasons for the misconception, now that I'm thinking about it, is usually the city or the taxing authority will include in the pleadings a title exam. And the title examiner may think, okay, they've got a title exam, what else do they need? But really, that's kind of like a check
Mm-hmm.
for the most recent exam. It's not something we can rely on. So that's another reason the examiner may think, aha, we've got a tax sale, there was a tax title search in there, we don't need to go further, but actually they do.
Yeah, I agree. And you pointed out at a seminar one time, one of the reasons for that is because we may not have any agreement with the title examiner that did the title search that's there in the court file.
No
So if
really
they made
good
an
contract.
If they made an error, we're on the hook for their error.
So we don't want to be on the hook for their error. We want our own examiner to search it so that we'll know what we're dealing, what kind of credit we're dealing with.
And I'm like anything, people make mistakes. I've seen a title search in a court file when they searched the wrong piece of property.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Ooh. Did you notice that, or did the title examiner notice?
I was redoing the search back when I was in the record.
Oh, okay. All right. War story from the front lines.
Well, it turned out that everything was okay anyway.
Okay. Huh. That's good. Did you have a problem with the list pendants, or was the list pendant stopped?
I can't recall.
Huh.
And then another thing.
It doesn't matter, but.
Well, another thing you often see is people will ask, does the list pendants need to be released? Well, once the suit is over and closed, we don't need to have the list pendants released, because the whole purpose of the list pendants is to make people aware of the fact that the suit is ongoing.
Yeah. So if you file anything and there's a list pendants, you're notified that there's a suit pending.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you're dealing with tax sales in this checklist. There are other types of special commissioners proceedings that will also require a similar type of analysis, right?
Yes, partition suits. Say there's one property owner that wants to sell the property and can't get all the other property owners to agree. They'll file a partition suit in order to have the property either divided amongst the people who have an interest in the property, or the court will authorize the sale of the property by special commissioner.
So either they carve up the property, divide it in kind, or sell the whole thing.
Correct.
As one whole.
And they're very similar to tax sales. The one difference I can think of is that in a tax sale, if somebody's served by order of publication, they only have 90 days to ask the court to have the case reheard. And I think it's a year in a regular petition suit.
Wow. So the underwriter would need to take an exception for that.
Yes, correct.
Right of appeal. Okay. Well, clearly these special commissioners' transactions are special, and they're a headache. And unfortunately, title examiners, you can't stop there. Underwriters, you need to know that call your local underwriting counsel like Frank or Cynthia, or other parts of the state. Anything else you want to add?
Just if you have any questions, give us a call. If the title examiner is in the record room and wants to know what we need from the file, have them call me directly, because I'll talk to them then and there rather than have them send something in and have to go back out to the court.
Assuming they have access to a phone.
And yes.
What's your phone number?
757-216-0488.
Great. All right, thank you so much, Frank. Our very first ever Virginia Title Talk. Thanks a bunch. Whoops. I wonder if I even. Well, it's still recording. Oh, here we go.